Okay, so I just got asked how to basically create a wire, digitally create a wire for lingual braces. And honestly, it's not something I do, but I like a challenge, and so I thought I'd go ahead and just make a quick video. Now, I haven't tried this, I haven't practiced this, so you're going to see me kind of thinking through the process. Be honest, I don't want to think it all through, then make a video, because this is just a quick thing I'm going to do. So anyway, I'm going to do this in BlueSkyPlan. I mentioned that I'm not going to be making a rectangular wire. That's the only difference. And so if that's imperative, then that's going to be a different issue. But there's other options if that's what's going to be needed. So there's other softwares like Tinkercad, which is a free software. And most of you that have watched me know that I do most stuff in Mesh Mixer or BlueSkyPlan. So here is a picture of the model he wants to create this lingual wire on. Okay, so it has to be shaped in such a manner that it's going to be, you might say, mushroom shaped, where it comes in, it tucks in to along the linguals, and then back out. And that's how lingual braces wires are. So anyway, my suggestion was to bring the model into BlueSkyPlan and create it in there via drawing a custom nerve. So I'll show you what I mean. This is going to be a little bit different here. Oops, I am in the orthodontic module, so we'll just call this a Maxilla. We'll change modules right quick. Forgot about that. Discard. Okay, now let's do that again. Let's bring that back in here. And we're not going to be using a CTE or anything. We're just going to be doing this right inside the surgical guide software. So one of the things I want you to do first is let's center this view right here. Come over to model manipulation. I guess you don't really have to do this. And if the coordinates of this are important to the user, then don't. But for me, it's going to be easier if I do. I'm trying to decide if this is a good idea or not. It'll be fine for me, but I'll see if I can work without it. That way, in case the coordinates should not be important. So I'll show you. You could do it without. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up in the center. How do I know it's centered? When the red hoop overlaps. Oops. Let's center again. When the one side from the other is lined up with the other. Same thing with the blue. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of getting it close. And so now let's look from the top. And it's also sort of low in that direction. Okay. And so now, no matter where I go, everything's pretty well lined up. So that's just going to make things a little bit easier for me. And it's tipped back. So let's go ahead and rotate it down, essentially 90 degrees. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm looking at the sort of pixelization up there. But okay, tell you what, let's actually aim to have the teeth in somewhat of a line, if you will, kind of parallel to the bottom of the screen here. Okay. All right, so that's it. So now the model is aligned a little better. And so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a nerve. I need to add a custom nerve here. But you can't do that in the 3D view. I mean, so if we do that, I think I'm going to have to change screens to do it. I've never, yeah. So you can't, it doesn't know where to put it when you try to do it in 2 dimensions. So I do need to have more screens. Only one I really need is to see the axial view. I'm going to see if I can just turn that one. Okay, yeah. So here we go. So now we've got all the teeth visible. Now, if you don't like this, if you're thinking, okay, well, it's not quite right here. First of all, if I want, I can actually go to sorry, I'm used to doing a typical one with implants. I would use the F3, which has all the slices, but since it's an STL, it's not doing that. So I could also show the coronal, and just to kind of get an idea, you know what, that one's probably not great. Let's view the sagittal, because now I can it's pretty much level throughout the teeth, this cross section. So that's pretty good. And if I found that the posterior teeth were much farther down, I would then tip the model back the way I just did earlier. Okay, but it's not, so I think we're good. So I'm gonna close this out, and now I've got this view. And so now I'm gonna go a little bit lower, right about there, we'll say, and let's see how we can draw our, we don't need to view this, so I'm gonna turn this off right here. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a nerve. So I'll click here, and just say add nerve. I'm gonna delete that one, add nerve, and I'm just gonna do exactly, I'm gonna try to keep the lines straight. You can add more lines if you want it more bent, but the more dots you put, the more curved it will be. And you can also go back and adjust these. You see how it makes a straight line. So now we can come in here and we can just say, yeah, let's just edit the nerve, move things. Okay, we don't want that a little bit farther in. Well, actually, we don't want to overlap in the tooth at all because that's where the bracket's going to be. So now we can shape it however you want. I mean, again, I'm not real familiar with lingual bracket systems. I've never done a case myself. At one point I was more interested and spent more time sort of researching them, but that's been a while. So not the expert on these systems, but hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of how you could create this. So anyway, now if we, I'm not going to close this window. I'm just going to minimize it over here. You can see that here is our customized curve. And so if you find that, I don't like the way that's shaped, I want it more, bent uniformly, well then do what you want to do. You can see the shape changes that are being created as I move things around. And so anyway, I'll leave that up to you, the viewer, to see if it's of interest. The important thing is that since I drew it in this plane, you know that the curve itself is flat. So if I come up here and hide this wire is perfectly flat. It's not, in the XY dimension it's not, but in the ZE dimension coordinate system it's flat. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps this particular person's question. Anyway, all right, thanks a lot. And so after I finished this, I was looking at the original request for this shape, and I thought, you know what, there is one other option that might be worthwhile, worth considering. Okay, so not a big change, but essentially I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go to add a nerve again, and I'm going to hide this one, and this time I'm going to click here, click here, oh, I need to add a nerve. Okay, so I'm going to click right here and right here, create my bend, and now put in fewer points. It's going to create maybe a little more ideal of a curvature. Anyway, so now let's turn the edit off and we can look over here. Again, it's flat and a little more akin to this wire right here. And if you want to change the dimensions, you can always dial it down to, I mean, even if you're doing a truly kind of make your own wire, this would be an 040 wire, which is pretty big actually. 020, which looks tiny, but that's pretty common wire size. And lingual wires, again, I'm not real familiar. I don't use them, but it's that's that. So anyway, hope that is another point of interest. All right, thanks so much. Bye for now.